Okay, let's launch rFactor 2. Okay, we're going to, for this purposes of this video, we're going to have a look at a circuit that I don't know very well or at all. Let's try Zolder. Never been here. So the first thing to do is look at the track map. As you can see, it's a anti-clockwise circuit. Oh no, it's a clockwise circuit. Two different direction arrows on it. So we should be expecting mostly right-hand corners. There's no tight hairpins. Couple of tricky looking corners. But that's the first tip, is to have a study the track map as it's loading.
Locking enabled.
Get an idea of what to expect as you go around. So probably the most important tip of all that will come out of this video is just to drive slowly. You're learning a circuit, you're learning where it's going. There's no need to try and set a qualifying lap straight off. Treat it like you're going out for a Sunday afternoon drive with your granny. And let's just figure out where the circuit goes first of all. The last thing you want to be doing at this time is spinning and crashing. Doesn't teach you anything, makes you too busy. You want to feel slow right at this moment in time. Just feel slow, because when you feel slow, that's when it's encouraging. That's when you think to yourself, there's more here, I can push harder. Just think to yourself, oh, I don't want to upset Granny. So even at that pace, it's very easy to misread the track. Keep it slow, keep your eyes open. So what you'll see, there's another tip, turn off the AI because they only get in the way. There's nothing to be gained by trying to keep up with the AI at this time. All they're going to do is block your vision of the circuit. You can use the AI much later on in the process to get a bit more of an idea of corner speeds and braking points, etc. But for now, just ignore them, let them go. Keep thinking to yourself, I mustn't upset Granny. You can probably want to do 3 or 4 laps like this first of all, just to figure out where it goes. And once you're comfortable, as soon as you're comfortable, start to drive the racing line. So wide, apex, apex, wide out. Stay in a high gear, so nothing gets too exciting. We're only learning the circuit this time. Just drive the racing line. Whoops. Keep the racing line, because when you drive a racing line slowly, one, you're setting in your mind where the circuit goes completely, if you like, so in the way that you will be driving it. And two, it makes it seem like you're going even slower than you really are. It's very easy to get very busy in a corner when you drive the wrong racing line, when you're taking it too tight or too wide. You can feel like you're on the limit, and you can feel like there's no more speed to be gained there. When you drive the right racing line, it encourages you to go quicker because it feels so slow.
8.56.
Gives you lots of margin. You're nowhere near the limit of the car. Oops. So easy to get carried away. So progression is the key with any racing. You haven't got to set your fastest lap on the first lap. It's about where you get to, not how long it takes you to get there. So keep it nice and, just as I say, keep it sensible. I allow myself to get carried away. So keep it nice and calm, sensible. Just cruise round. Become more familiar. Just give yourself 10-15 minutes to become more familiar with the layout of the circuit before you really try to do anything like set a lap time. So what you'll see I've got set up here, you may be able to hear the desktop audio as well of the data logger kicking in as I left the pit lane. I've got Motec data logging set up on this with rFactor 2. You can always check out my other videos to figure out how to set that up on your system. It's pretty easy, it's very good, it's very useful for this kind of situation. But also I've got the Delta lap time on the HUD at the top of the screen there. So what that allows me to do is each lap, as I improve, the following lap it gives you an indication of at any point on the circuit whether you're quicker or slower than you were at that point in the circuit last time round, or on your previous best lap. So what you can do, maybe you can watch it as I try and drive round here. You can see at the moment I'm 4.5 seconds quicker than I was last time. Which is useful information in itself, but really you want to do it on a corner by corner basis. So if, like now, I'm now only 4.8 seconds quicker, it must be because I was slower through that corner. Something that I did in that corner lost me time. So it's important. Another reason for driving quite slowly to start with is that it gives you time to be to analyse what you're doing, self-critical.
50.62.
And when you make a change, it gives you the opportunity to check with the Delta and see whether or not it made a positive difference. So now, even over the last lap where I was considerably quicker than the previous lap, I'm up half a second again, and as I drive through this corner I'm now 0.7 quicker, so I must have done that corner better. I'm now 1.5 seconds a lap quicker because my exit through that corner was so much better. My run down this straight is a lot quicker, so I'm now 2 seconds a lap quicker. Now 3.5 seconds a lap quicker. For the purposes of shortening this video, I'm trying harder than I really should, and what I would suggest, because I'm not really being able to be overly analytical about what I'm doing in the corner and learning. But what I would strongly recommend you do is look for improvements corner by corner. Just work on one corner each lap so that you get the rest of the lap as a breather, and that you can think about what you're going to try on the next time round. Try and keep your delta improvements around about half a second a lap, and just build up nice and gradually. That way you'll end up understanding what you're doing around the circuit a lot better than being too busy. You don't want to be too busy. You don't want your mind being taken up with all of the car control issues and what have you, so you don't really learn what your technique is in each corner, and you're not really learning from your mistakes if you're just hanging on for dear life. So improvements in the realms of about half a second a lap are ideal. And not by cheating like that, by going off. So when you start to get down to lap times that are within a second or two of the AI, that's the time then maybe you can start to follow them. Oops. But there's a classic example why not to do it too early on, because it blocked my view of the corner. I made an assumption, got way too busy, wasn't able to concentrate properly. If I follow him now, I can just stay within a second or two of him, then maybe I can start to learn a little bit more about where braking points might be for each corner. So like now, through that corner I'm staying with him quite effectively, so I must be getting quite close on that corner. My corner exit was obviously slower. Now I was concentrating far too much. I'm not far enough down the road with this process to effectively follow the AI and learn anything from them. I'm trying to shortcut it for the purpose of the video. And all that it's done there is taken my focus off of what I should be doing, and I'm making mistakes. So the next tip is to take regular breaks. The point I've got to now with this video and this lap is that I'm concentrating far too much on talking and trying to keep up with this AI to demonstrate that recommendation far too early on in the process, and this is the time when I would recommend you take a break, sit in the pits, look at some data, check out my videos on things like braking, for tips on what to look for in the data. But most importantly, to clear your mind, have a little think about what you've been doing, have a little think about the particular corners that you're having trouble with, and then go back out and work on one corner or two corners of a lap at a time. Don't get yourself worked up about the whole lap. Like I say, work on one or two corners at a time, and Then use the rest of the lap to clear your mind and figure out what it is that the next time round you're going to try out that particular corner. So in my mind I would be thinking, that second part of that chicane I need to take it more careful because it's ruining my line for the last part and costing me time down the straight. I keep braking too late for that corner. Okay, so another tip for better driving technique is to try and check yourself when you're overcommitting to corner entry. I'm making the classic mistakes quite often on this circuit of, there you go, too fast in, and it ruins my exit. And what you'll find, and you'll see this on the Delta if you concentrate on it, you'll see huge improvements in your Delta time as you're braking and entering the corner. And then when you come to corner exit, all that time and then plus a whole lot more is lost because your corner exit and therefore your run down the following straight is so much worse than it was before. So you're much better using the old adage of slow in, fast out. But as soon as you're pushed for time, you'll find that it's only natural to think that braking later is the place to get it, but it isn't. It's about keeping corner entry neat and tidy and concentrating on getting the throttle open, the steering and the throttle open as quickly as possible in the corner exit to maximise your run down the next straight. Another classic example there, way too fast in. Very bad exit. So another top driving tip, which you'll see on most driver coaching videos will tell you this, and if you're a real life racer and have got a driving coach, they'll tell you this like early on in your time with them. You must look further down the road than you probably are already at the moment. It's very easy to focus on what's immediately in front of the car when really you're much better off looking further down the road. Things come at you slower, that way you get more time to react to things, you get more opportunity to position your car correctly. So but simulators are really useful for real life drivers from this point of view because you can spend hundreds of laps practicing that, where in a real car on a test day you're only going to get a few tens of laps maybe. So it's really useful if you're a real race driver to use a simulator to practice these less than natural techniques, because it's got to become second nature to you to look further ahead. It's not, I find anyway, for me and for the drivers I worked with, it's not what you would naturally do. You're naturally more concerned with what's immediately in front of the car. So now I should be looking to where that AI is. Now I should change my view to the apex, then to the next apex, and now as soon as almost before I've got to that apex, once I know the car is going to get to that apex, I need to look up and look for my corner exit point, and then once again, as soon as so now I'm on the apex, I'm looking for my corner exit, rest it up. But once I know that the car is on trajectory, so it's on trajectory for the apex, look up for the exit. Try that again. Then these fast sweeping corners, look for the apex. Now as soon as the car's on the way to the apex, I can look up for the exit, and then as soon as the car is on the way to the exit point, I can look up again further down the track. So apex, next apex, exit, now look halfway up the straight, over this crest as far as I can, looking for my braking point, apex, apex, corner exit, or apex of this one, corner exit. Now round this corner, far in the distance, whoop, too quick, far in the distance, look for my braking point. So it's not easy, it's very difficult, you have to tell yourself to do it, and it does mean that you make, to start with, more mistakes. But in the long run it does slow things down, gives you a better look at the circuit, makes you more consistent and quicker. So practice that. So another technique to think about is your braking technique, and I have actually done another video which you may be able to check out on my channel. I find with working with real drivers that a lot of lap time is in their braking effort and their technique for releasing the brake pedal when they're trail braking and they're balancing the car in the corner. So that might be an interesting video for you to check out as well. I will be doing more videos on with regard to that, because during lockdown I've been developing a brake training software, because it is so important for especially novice drivers to get their braking techniques correct. So I hope you've found this video interesting, learnt something. Would really like to hear comments from you, especially if you've got other techniques that novice sim racers and real racers can learn from when they help them learn the circuit, something that I might have missed or overlooked, or something that you find works for yourself. If I haven't made myself clear, then please feel free to put a question in the comment section and I'll try and answer it. I am by no means a professional racing driver or experienced sim racer. All of this is based on my experience of working with professional racing drivers at various levels and seeing how they work to get to the end result of pole positions and race wins. And it's how we work with them and novice drivers in the simulator, and it works really well. So sorry I've shortened the process in this video, that's just wanted to keep it a sensible length. But as you can see, this is the first time I've driven this circuit, and even though I'm talking to you and not really concentrating, and I'm trying to foreshorten the whole process, I'm now making some fairly consistent progress in reducing my lap time. I'm 5 seconds away at the moment, but I'm sure given another 10 or 20 laps and not cutting the circuit like that I would get down to some pretty decent times. So until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.